Okay, moving on to the next 10 on our assignment for writing the equations for parallel and perpendicular lines. On the back side, we're doing perpendicular lines, which means whatever slope you start with, you need to get the opposite reciprocal. So if you have something like negative 1/3, you need to flip it upside down and change the sign. And so we're just going to get positive 3. If you have something like 2/7, you're going to flip it upside down to get 7/2 and negative. So we're going to do that to all the slopes. We're still going to use the same equation to get our equation of the lines, which is y minus 1, 1 equals m times x minus x1. And this guy is going to be how we're going to write up our equations. So moving on to 11 here, our slope is, on the first line, negative 1/3, flip it upside down. We're looking at a slope of just 3. So I'm going to write my equation, y minus y1 equals 3, my slope, times x minus x1, which is the x-coordinate. And now I just need to simplify. Left side I got y minus 5, right side I got 3x minus 6. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. We're getting y equals 3x, minus 1, because negative 6 plus 5 is negative 1. And there's our equation. Moving on to 12, we start out at 2/5. We're going to flip it upside down and change the sign. We're looking at negative 5/2 for our slope. We're going to use that and our point there, to negative 3. So y minus the y coordinate equals negative 5/2 times x minus the 2, the x coordinate there. I'm going on the left side, simplify. Y minus a negative 3 is y plus 3. Negative 5/2 times x is negative 5/2 x. And negative 5/2 times negative 2 is positive 5. I'm going to now subtract 3 from both sides because I want to get y by itself. We're looking at negative 5/2 x plus 2. 13, start out at 1/4. We're going to flip it upside down, change the sign. We're looking at a slope of negative 4, and our point is negative 3, 7. So I'm going to write y minus my y1, my y coordinate, which is 7. So I got y minus 7 equals negative 4 times x minus negative 3, because that's my x coordinate. Left side, the parentheses don't do anything there. We need to do negative 4 times both of those guys, so we got negative 4x and negative 12, because those make a positive. And we need to now add 7 to both sides. We're looking at y equals negative 4x minus 5 for our equation. Moving on to 4, my y is not by itself, so I need to get rid of all this stuff that's keeping y from being by itself. Subtract 3 from both sides. We now got 2y equals negative 3x minus 10. I'm going to divide everything by 2. You're looking at y equals negative 3/2 x minus 5. So that's the starting equation. Here's the start slope. I'm going to convert it to a slope I'm going to use, so flip it upside down and switch the sign. It becomes positive. That's our slope we're going to use. So there's the slope, there's the point. Need to do y minus that negative 2 equals 2/3 times x minus that negative x for my coordinate there. And I'm going to distribute through. On the left side we're looking at y plus 2. 2/3 times x is 2/3 x. 2/3 times a positive 9 is going to be positive 6. And we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. We're looking now at y equals 2/3 x plus 4. On 15, we need to get y by itself again to know what our original slope is. So I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. We're now looking at negative y equals negative 5x plus 16. I'm going to times the entire thing by negative 1 because that's going to give me positive y equals positive 5x minus 16. this is my start slope. I'm going to convert it, flip it upside down, change the sign. Now I have my slope. Gotta do y minus y1 equals that slope times x minus x1. You're looking at y equals negative 1/5 x. And that's the whole equation. Moving on to 16. This one's already solved for y. So that's the start slope. I need to flip it upside down and change the sign. So I'm going to get 1/6 for my slope. Here's my point. So I'm going to do y minus that 3 from the point there equals negative 1/6, the slope, times x minus 6, which comes from there. Let's say we got y minus 3. Negative 1/6 times x is negative 1/6x. Negative 1/6 times negative 6 is positive 1. Now I'm going to add 3 to both sides. And we're looking at y equals negative 1/6 x plus 4. And that's our equation for 6. On 7, when you get y by itself, so I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. We're now looking at 5y equals negative 2x plus 20. Divide by 5. We're now setting at y equals negative 2/5 x plus 4. That's the part we're really trying to get, is the slope. We need to turn it upside down, change the sign, and it's now positive. So I have a slope of positive 5/2. We're going to use that and the point they give us to write our equation for the new line that goes through this point and is perpendicular, because we know that slope there. We're looking at y minus negative 5 equals 5/2 times x minus the 4. Distribute the 5/2. You're going to get 5/2 x minus 10. And y minus negative 5 is y plus 5. I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. That should be a 5. And I'm going to get y equals 5/2 x minus 15. There's my solution there. Moving on to 18, this one's already solved for y, so I know my slope for the original one. I need to flip it upside down, change the sign. That's going to be my new slope. There's the point I'm going to go through. So I'm looking at y minus negative 2 equals 4/5 times x minus negative 10. And I'm going to distribute that through. Y plus 2 equals 4/5 x plus 8. 4 times 10 is 40. Divided by 5 gives you 8. And now I just need to subtract 2 from both sides. I have y equals 4/5 x plus 6. There's 18. Moving on to 19, I need to get y by itself so I can know my original slope. So I'm going to subtract 8x from both sides. Now looking at negative 3y equals negative 8x plus 15. Divide by the negative 3 to get y by itself. And when you do that, you're going to get 8/3 x minus 5. I just want that bit of information. That's the slope. I need to flip it upside down and change the sign. So I'm looking at negative 3/8 for my slope. So y minus my y1 here from the point equals negative 3/8 times x minus 0, that x1. Left side I have y plus 1. Right side I have negative 3/8 x. And nothing else, because anything times 0 is 0. And I'm going to not add 1, I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. We're looking at y equals negative 3/8 x minus 1 for our equation. And finally, for number 20, we have the start slope for the first line. We're trying to get the perpendicular line, so we need the perpendicular slope. Flip it upside down, change the sign. We're looking at 3/2 for our slope. And there's the point we need to go through. So we're going to do y minus 3 equals 3/2 times x minus 8. Comes from the point. I'm going to distribute the 3/2. Left side I got y minus 3. Right side I got 3/2 x minus 12. And then I'm going to add 3 to both sides. We got y equals 3 halves x minus 9 for our equation. And that's the whole assignment.